if you keep doing the things that you think you should do, you will never be satisfied. I had to break that down very slowly because this is something that I say all the time. There are so many conversations that I have with people that are struggling to take the next step in their life. And when they talk about the things that they're going to do, for example, they're not excited. It kind of seems like a burden. I can remember off the top of my head, I met this guy, I went to Forbes 30 Under 30, and we were just chit-chatting, and we asked him, like, what are your plans? And he's like, well, I'm still in school, but I got a job in finance or something. He's like, it's really not that interesting, and like it's whatever. And I was like, whoa, like, why is that your reaction to your first, not even like saying your first job out of college, but it's like, it's a job, he's like, it's paying really well. And yeah, and I was like, oh, you don't seem excited, you don't seem like you really want to be doing this thing, like it seems like someone's forcing you to do this. And he's like, no, like no one's forcing me, I just think I should do it. And I was like, what, why? And he's like, well, it's like good experience. And I was like, okay, so good experience for what? And he's like, good experience for me out of college. And I was like, yeah, but you don't seem excited, you don't seem like this is really what you want to do, this doesn't seem like something that excites you, this doesn't seem like what you're passionate about. Like, what do you think, like, if you could just wave your magic wand, like, what would you do? And he was like, I don't know. And whenever someone tells me that they don't know, I'm like, ooh, that's it, because you do know, because the thing that's inside you that's like knocking, but you don't want to say it out loud because you feel like, oh, this is like embarrassing, and like no one will respect this as a career, or no one will understand if I say that I really want to do this, or I really like to do this. So I'll just say, like, I don't know. Like, it's an easy out, because I don't know is like, they won't inquire, they won't ask more questions. Like, no, I will ask more questions, and I actually will tell you, you do know. And that's what I said. I was like, oh no, you do know. And he's like, oh, he's like, I don't know if I know. I was like, no, you do know. What are the things that you really enjoy? What are the things that you love to do that you can do for the rest of your life? That's my first question. Like, if you are struggling with the I don't know, because I actually don't want to dig deeper and actually explore what that answer would be, the first question that I always ask is, what would you do for the rest of your life if you could? If you didn't have to worry about money, if you didn't have to worry about responsibilities and this and that and who and how, what would you do? And he was like, well, and immediately lights up. Like, when I say it was immediate, and I had my friends around me that I had just met, honestly, at the conference, they all were like, whoa, you lit up. Like, immediately he was like, I guess I really love cooking. Like, I love cooking. Like, I would be a chef. Like, I would love to be a chef. If I could be a chef, like, I would love that life. When I say it was so immediate, and the how he changed, everything changed about him. The way that he, like, was talking to us changed. Just how I perceived him changed. There was such, like, a switch of thinking about what I could do. Like, if I could, like, this, I would be a chef. And everyone around me realized, like, you lit up. You became a different person, because obviously the thing that you would do, that you could do, is what you're very passionate about and what you really want to do. That's where, like, your energy is, that's where your excitement is, that's where the passion is. But because society has so much instilled in us this idea of, like, stability and what you should do and how you should work in this career, and what careers are the most highest paying, and what helps you get experience. And I was like, you're getting experience in finance, and you love to cook. What experience? I mean, everything in life is an experience. Me talking to this camera right now, an experience. Me going outside in the cold, an experience. Every day we're having experiences. You get to choose which experience you have. So you choosing to work in a financial corporation is, like, definitely an experience, definitely a choice. Not one that I would choose personally, but you're choosing that. And so you can decide, like, I want to work in a financial corporation. That's the experience that I want, and that's okay. That's okay, because you decided that's the experience that you want. But if you know the experience that you want, that you could have, that you really want to have, and it doesn't look like that, like you don't essentially need that experience. You're gonna get life lessons regardless. If you're over here, or if you're, a cashier at a fast food restaurant, you're gonna get experience. So it's really about figuring out what experience do you want, not what experience should you get. And if I want that experience, how is it going to help me get to where I want to go? And I think these words are triggering to people. Like, I think when I ask people, what do you want? It's like, whoa. Want? Well, I want the essentials in life. Like, then it breaks down this whole, I want to eat. I want to put food on my table, and I want a house over my head. It's like, yes, right? Like, those are needs, right? Those are like the essentials. Like, that's where we start, right? But when I talk about wants and desires, I'm like, what do you want? Like, what excites you? What gets you passionate? Like, what are the things that you're like, I want this? And I always say, people are like, well, I just want a car. It's like, okay, so you're in, like, the first level of a car is just, you want a car. But you don't want a car. You want the ability to get from point A to B with your own vehicle. I know it sounds like you're silly, you're breaking this down unnecessarily. Like, why are you breaking it down in that way? But that's actually what you want, the ability to take yourself from point A to point B. So you don't really care how you do it, right? Like, it could, honestly, it's like, you're like, not a bike, but I'll take a bike. But you want a car. You want transportation. You want a vehicle, right? So need, that's like the need is the action. Getting. So you'll start, it's like you can use your legs. You're like, okay, the bus, okay, maybe a bike, and you keep working your way up to like, I've got a car. Wow. But when you talk about, like, if you have a car, and then you talk about your wants, it's like, why would I boil it down to, I just want something that's like common, right? Like something that's, unless you really, really want something, like, do you understand what I'm saying or no? Unless you want something, like, you internally are like, I've always dreamed of having this thing. It doesn't have to be like luxurious, fancy, expensive. You in your body, in your being is like, I want this. It's so specific for you because you have your reasonings wanting it. Then it's like, okay, period. But like, for example, I drive a Honda, right? And I'm like, I never was like, oh, like, I want a Honda. Like, that is my want. It was just like, I want a car. Like, I want a car. And I'm grateful. Like, now I'm like, I love my car. I'm besties. But when we start to move up and start to like elevate the things that we think about and what we want and desire, a lot of the time people try to keep it at this level where it's like, I think I can achieve this, so this is what I'm going to want for. This is what I'm going to wish for. Instead of like, oh, like, I don't even know if it exists. I want a Porsche. I want a Porsche 911, whatever. And it's like, whoa, what? No, girl, you can't afford that. No, you can't. Because you can't afford that, you can't want it. It's like, no, you can want things. You can have desire for things that feel impossible. And the reason I bring that up is because it's this idea with should and could. Like, I should be a lawyer. I should be a doctor. I studied neuroscience and Spanish in school, and I was on the pre-medical track. My second semester senior year is when I said, the video's here. I was like, I could do this. I could, like, I have the ability. I did all the classes. I passed all the classes. I have all the requirements. I could go to medical school, but do I want to? Like, do I see myself sitting in a medical classroom for the next 14 years? No. I saw myself, like, I envisioned myself like, what do you want in the next 14 years? And then I was like, okay, do you want to be learning? Do you want to be in residency? Like, where do you want to be? And it wasn't there. And because that was my truth, I immediately had to pull the plug. It was crazy. Everyone was like, RAENA, whoa. Like, this is really what you want to do? Like, you've like really worked your way here. You shadowed all these doctors. You loved it. Why are you making this decision? And it's because I thought of what I wanted. I thought, what do I want in my life? I wanted flexibility. I wanted freedom. I wanted the ability to travel whenever I wanted to. I wanted to have my income be flexible. I decide how much I make. It wasn't like pre-decided for me. Those were all the things I thought about when I thought, what do I want in 13 years and 14 years? Where do I want to be? I thought, I want to be on a beach, right? I want to be on the beach and not worried about XYZ. I didn't see myself just wrapping things up in my residency. And that's when I was like, okay, then if this is the truth, you need to take action. And whatever the action is, you need to take action in the direction of the things that you want. And so at that time, I was loving the content creation. I was loving creating. I really loved the whole like influencing, the YouTube, all of the things of creation. Like, I've always been a performer, musicals, I was an a cappella. Like, I was not an entertainer, but like I had so many different talents that were entertainment, like singing. I loved acting, editing, just being in front of the camera. And so when I thought about being a doctor, it was like, wow, even though I could do this, like, do I want to do this for 24/7, like for the rest of my life? Do I choose to do this one thing? And then on the other end of it, I realized as a multi-passionate, I know it's getting so dark. I don't know if I can like raise the brightness. But as a multi-passionate creative, I also realized that I could do so many things. Like, there are so many things that I could do because I'm multi-passionate and I have so many different passions. I have so many different talents and skills and hobbies and all of them. Like, I have a lot of them. And that means that when I do different things in my life, I'm like, oh, like, I'm really good at this. Like, I probably should do this for the rest of my life. And then it's like, whoa, that's a commitment that I don't know if I'm down for. And it's like, I find some other things. So when I found medicine and it was like, this is a perfect career, like, people are really respected, pays really good, like, and you know, the one thing that I've always said is I want to help people. This is the career that helps people. This is for you. And it's easy to just get wrapped in this, like, yes, like, that's for you. Like, you could do that. But it came to a point where I realized, and I'm still realizing, that there's so many things, especially as owning my own business now and getting to make all the choices and decisions of where I go and who I help and what I do with them. It's like, I could do so many different things. And I have the talents and the skill and the knowledge to do all of those things. But at the end of the day, I have to decide, like, is this where I want to take my business? Is this where I want to take my career? Is this where I want to go? And the decision behind the want is because I know that with anything that I'm passionate about, like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm not gonna feel like, if things come up and don't go the way that they should, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, like, I want everything to go away. I want this all to disappear, because I know that this is what I want. Like, in my bones, I'm confident with the decision that I made because I want it and I still want it. And I base majority of my wants with my why. And so my why is to inspire people to do the thing that inspires them. And that's like, you know, when I say that, it's always the encouragement. Like, I want to encourage people to go after the thing that they want. I want people to understand that just because they feel like it's a big dream doesn't mean that it's like, it can't come true, that it's impossible. And so with everything that I do day to day in my business, or the way that I help people, or the way that I help my creators or manage them, I understand that it's rooted in that foundation of my why. So if I look at this thing and I'm like, I could essentially, like, I do this all the time and I work backwards. So I'm like, what could I do? This is a real example. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I could create, because I'll go on Amazon, I'll find like something that is familiar and it's basically the same thing as something that was like way more expensive, and I'll get it and I'll compare the two essentially and be like, wow, this is great. So I was like, I can make an account like just for Amazon stuff and like share the stuff and the and that. And then I thought back to my why and I was like, no, you could maybe you could do this, but do you want to do this? Like, is this a want and is it backed by your why? And I was like, no. And that, to me, quickly, I understand that it's not going to last. Like, it's going to be a quick little blip, and I'm going to be like, whoa, this is fun, I did it. And then I'm going to feel unfulfilled, not satisfied, and be like, why am I not consistent at everything? Why doesn't anything ever work for me? It's like, was it backed in your why? If it wasn't, then like, hey, that's probably why you're here. And so I think the one thing that I'm just always repeating over and over, I had this person that came, wanted to speak to me because he was looking to go into the college that I went to, and he just wanted to like talk about it. And he was talking about, he also was doing law. I don't know what this whole thing is with, oh wait, no, I didn't meant, the last was finance. But he was doing, he wanted to go to law school, and he told me basically that his family and him basically planned out what that would look like for him. And like, oh my, the darkness is crazy. What him going to law school would look like, and because they planned it out together, and made the expectation that he was going to do it, he felt like he had to. But in reality, he was like, if I could do anything, I would be a writer. Like, at a point, it gets to a point. Like, it gets to a point, because I'm scared. Most of the people I talk to, they're like, I would love to do this thing, but I'm not gonna do that thing. I'm gonna do this thing. And it's like, do you realize you get one of these? Like, do you, like, fully, like, do you realize that you only get one of these things? One. And you're over here sitting talking about like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a writer. You want to be a writer. You know you want to be a writer. But because you talked with your family, you guys combination, okay, together, decided that you were going to be a lawyer. So you're studying political science. You know that your mom, your dad, and your sister are not about to walk up there and read those papers for you. They're not about to walk up into that courtroom and fight that case for you. It is only you. What are you doing? Like, we together decided. Don't get me upset. Don't get me mad. Like this, I could go about this all day. I think that there's just like, people are so scared. And like, I get it. I understand why there's like this there's like this fear and this anxiety of doing the thing that you really want to do. I understand. I get it. But I also don't understand how people are not scared of living a life that's not theirs, and living a life that they will never feel satisfied with, and living that life, and at the end of that life, looking back and being so disappointed by the actions that they took because they weren't based on what they wanted to do. I don't understand it. And hey, maybe it's just my little delusional little brain, but it's gotten me this far. And the one thing that I will tell you, and the one thing that I want you to take away, is that if there's something that you want, if there's something that you feel on your chest that you are being pulled towards, like, you're not being pulled towards it because it's just fun. Like, you're not being pulled towards it because it's just like, oh, I'm being pulled towards this thing. You're being pulled towards it because it's what your purpose is. It's like what you need to be doing. It's how you need to be expressing yourself. And the fact that like people need you. Why is this so dark? Like, what is going on? The way this got so dark, I just want to say, last thing, because you can't see me, people need you. Like, there are people that are waiting for you, for your talents, for your skills, for what you can offer, for the gifts that you were given. God gave you them, and he's waiting for you to finally trust in him, to be seen and show yourself for your greatness, whether you see it as a curse or not. You know, this is Elphaba. This is a true story. So what I need you to do is allow your story to be written and allow yourself to hold that pen. Like, don't let the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Let what you want be the author and the director of your story. Okay? You can't even see me, so I'm gonna go. But don't play. You only got one of these. You only got one.